Now, on to another topic. The Prime Minister Anthony Albanese is in Washington. He announced today that Australia won't increase its $3 billion commitment to boost US and British submarine bases. This is part of the AUKUS deal. Have a look.
The combination of the three nations cooperating when it comes to our defence capacity lifts the capacity of everyone, of all three countries. That's what this is about here. Win, win, win for Australia, the United States and the United Kingdom.
But Jenna, what problems is Albanese now facing in actually getting support in Congress for AUKUS?
I think, Sharri, the biggest issue is it's probably nothing that the Prime Minister of Australia has caused. It's the fact that he's going over there and not even the House has a speaker. So I think all American politicians at this point in time are probably more concerned about just who is going to be leading them in the House, and as well as the fact that, you know, you've got Biden that's running around in between meetings with Israel at this point in time. It wouldn't be surprised if there isn't even an answer at that. But again, I'm not a defence expert, so I'm waiting on experts, someone like, you know, from Richard Marles's office or someone like Greg Sheridan in The Australian to correct me here. But I don't think we're going to see much of a movement on AUKUS during this specific visit.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. I think they're going to struggle to get it over the line in the US Congress. Now, Julian Assange is reportedly hopeful that these Biden-Albanese talks will mean he's finally free. There's been a cross-party delegation of politicians who travelled to Washington last month. They were campaigning for his release. And Albanese and his government have also been campaigning. Jenna, should he be released now? And if he is, would anyone celebrate?
Yeah, it is an interesting one, Sharri, especially because I guess we all really celebrated when Chang Lei was released back on home soil just a couple of days ago. But I think you can't really conflate those two personalities because, you know, their crimes were completely different. I think there's so much murkiness in the water with the Julian Assange case, with all of those different legal issues around the world at this point in time. I think the fact that cross-party delegation going over to Washington to sort of plead the case was interesting, but whether Prime Minister Anthony Albanese uses this specific visit to really plead the case, it's really anyone's guess. But I don't know. I mean, I know that we always see protests around free Julian Assange popping up here, there and everywhere, but I don't know whether there's much public appetite to see him released ASAP.
Yeah, and I know what you meant by that comparison between Julian Assange and Chang Lei, but just to be clear, Chang Lei obviously didn't commit any crime at all, whereas Julian Assange very clearly broke national security laws and did commit crimes. Now, Labor is being accused of prioritising submarines over women. This is Katie Gallagher. She's the finance minister. She's also the women's minister. She's been under fire for her refusal to commit the government to recommendations from the Women's Economic Equality Task Force. This includes paying super on paid parental leave, also abolishing the childcare subsidy activity test. Look, she's now upsetting, you know, the women's groups here, Jenna.
Yeah, the women's group that she appointed. I think, you know, Sam Moyston's probably right to sort of crack the whip and say, you know, the fact that women are not being given, you know, leeway to really lean into work is costing the economy $128 billion is definitely something we need to look at. But I think if you zoom out a little bit and rather than make it just a women's issue, they need to make it an economic and productivity issue, because at the end of the day, this government have got so many issues when it comes to industrial relations. I say just add this on the pile because it has to get worked through, and it has to get worked through ASAP.
All right, Jenna, Clarke, thank you so much for joining me tonight.